Hey vegan food explorers, so today we have got Oatly Oat Drink Original and Oatly Oat Drink Organic, and we're going to see what is the difference. Please smash that like button and subscribe as it really helps the channel. Okay, so the packaging is basically exactly the same apart from of course the colour and the word organic on the front, on obviously the organic one, which is pretty obvious. Okay, so so basically the same. They're both completely vegan, both a litre, and both come in these Tetra Pak things. Where it starts to get a bit different is on the sides. You got kind of these, these crazy messages on Oatly. But this one's, I don't even know, this one's going about a pear Oatly? I have no idea. It's just crazy. But it's basically the same sort of stuff. Quite fun. Where it gets really different, just on the front here again, we got the wow, no cow. That's what we like to see. No dairy products, which is excellent. So let's put these here and have a look. Because where they start to get a bit different is on the boring side. But very important, and it's going to be really important for us because this is where it does start to differentiate. So on here we've got the regular. And so ingredients, look at this. You've got the oil base, which is water and oats, unsurprisingly. But then you've got the rapeseed oil, and so the oil gives it a bit more of a creamy texture. Then calcium carbonate, calcium phosphates, so that will come to explain why that's in here. Then salt, that's for a bit of flavouring, and then you've got vitamins, and then potassium iodide. So the actual ingredients, in addition to the basic water and oats, are actually these vitamins. So you can see down here it has vitamin D, which is a good vitamin. Normally get it from the sun, so people in the UK don't have enough of it, so it's pretty good to supplement it if you can. Then riboflavin, B12, classic, calcium and iodine. And the most interesting vitamins here in this drink are the calcium and iodine for me, because these are trying to mimic regular cow's milk. So they always say, oh, cow's milk is the only place you can get calcium from. It's obviously not true. You can get it from loads of plant-based foods, but a great way is if you're just switching this in, you completely debunk the argument that you're not going to be able to get your calcium, because you get exactly the same amount of calcium. Then iodine, so this is a weird one, probably not many people know about, but iodine is found in a lot of different foods, but predominantly seafood and dairy. But it's actually weird why it's in dairy. One of the main reasons why it's in dairy is actually because it's used to clean the equipment, which is just mad. And iodine is really important because it helps regulate our hormones and thyroid, so very important. You can, of course, like anything, get the food from plant-based foods, such as I think it's strawberries, and some whole grains as well. So you will get it, but it's just if you're switching this from milk, regular cow's milk, to this, you're covered. So that's why those are there. So that's a big difference, because on the organic, so you know it's organic because it's got this EU agriculture symbol. That's our little friend there. And what it means is that everything that you can make organic has to be organic. So, for example, you can't have organic water because organic, I don't know, you may not know actually, but organic is all about the farming practices. So it means you can't use any, I think it's synthetic pesticides and things like that. So it all has to be natural. So this oat will use, I assume, natural fertilizer. And also it's kind of around the practices. So it tries to go against industrial farming, but it means basically that it's not going to have this that's not true actually. It's still going to be industrial farming, but it's not going to be completely crazy spraying it with pesticides and all these nasty stuff, which they say it doesn't end up on the food, but I mean, it probably does, doesn't it? Let's face it. So what this has in, you'll remember these ingredients was, what's that? 7 lines. This now has 3 lines, and one is not even an ingredient, it's just an explanation. So it's 2 lines. So you basically have that oat base, so water can't be organic, but then oats, they are organic, and then sea salt. So that's another thing, you can't have organic sea salt because it's from the sea, so it's just not relevant. So you can already see this has a really, really different ingredients list, even though for exactly the same thing. It also doesn't have the rapeseed oil, which is an interesting one because that would have to be an organic ingredient, so it probably will taste a little bit different, but we'll find out in a minute. But that's really interesting. So you've got to remember, if you're going from switching from dairy and not changing anything else in your diet, you probably want to stick with this one first. Even though you're going to potentially be getting kind of the pesticides and things on the oats, you still need to make sure you're getting all these vitamins. So my advice would be to start with this one and really make sure, if you're changing to a plant-based diet, make sure you're getting all of these vitamins in addition to this, and then you can slowly switch to the organic and start drinking that organic life. Okay, let's try them. Okay, I've given them both a good shake, so they're going to be a bit frothy, but let's see. Let's see if we can tell the difference first. So I've got these glasses. So okay, let's put some. So this is the organic. I'm going to put it here so we remember. And then this is the regular. I actually am using this for my cereal, so I don't want to waste all of it. I mean, first of all, it just looks like milk, doesn't it? I think those look identical. Yeah, and the froth, I mean, that's just because I've shaken them at different times. Okay, let's try the organic one first. Cheers. It's creamy. It's still creamy even though it doesn't have the oil in it. It's really rich. Very rich, even though it doesn't have that oil in it, but it tastes really good. Right, wash my mouth out. Okay. So now this is the regular. Smells the same. So that is much creamier. It's much softer. The organic was a bit more harsh, but that's so much softer. You can really tell. Actually, I was surprised about that. You can just tell that it's just a lot more smooth. It's a lot more smooth, and that would be the oil in there than the organic one. It's definitely a lot more smooth. It's just creamier. So I would say this tastes nicer and sweeter, but I still like the organic one. I think the organic one tastes much more natural. This tastes a bit heavier, and also that reminds me, we should look. So because we don't have the oil in the organic, the fat, so you've got 0.5 grams of fat. Everything else is the same apart from the fat, which you've got 0.5 grams. But in the organic, but in the regular, it is 1.5 grams per 100 millilitres. So there's a lot more fat in there. I mean, it's still very low fat, but it is a little bit more, and that's because of the oil. So very similar, but also with its own difference. And I guess it's just up to you to make your own mind up of which you want. But I would recommend, if you're initially switching to a plant-based diet and you're changing just your dairy milk out, I'd start with this one because it's sweet, tastes more like dairy milk. And then once you've covered off your nutrition in your other foods with plant-based foods, of the iodine and the calcium, then switch to your organic because it's just better for your health.